Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm Drew Geraci, and this guy right here is the brand new Mavic Pro 4. And if you were lucky enough to get one within the first few days of pre-sales in the United States, you might just be holding a flying gold mine, considering that DJI has stated that they're not going to be selling these units in the United States until our current administration removes all Chinese tariffs. That could mean months or even years until this drone is back in the US marketplace. This is a huge blow to creators and consumers in the US market because the drone is hands down the best I've ever used, and I'll explain why in a second. I was fortunate enough to get my hands on the Fly More bundle, which I got for around $3,600 after taxes, but the caveat to this edition is that it has less internal storage. It only has 41 gigabytes of usable space, and it lacks 10-bit 422 that the Creator Edition affords. With that being said, there's a lot of back and forth going on the internet, especially among purists that say it's not worth getting the 10-bit 420 version, basically the one that I've got right here, because it's not true 10-bit, which, while true, doesn't necessarily limit the capabilities or quality of the actual footage that you get from this drone, and that's what I want to show you today.
Let's break down what 10-bit 422 versus 10-bit 420 actually means in a clear and practical way. These terms relate to how video color and detail are encoded, and they have major implications for color grading, compression, and overall image fidelity, especially in professional workflows. When we're discussing what 10-bit means, it refers to color depth. 10-bit color means that for each color channel, red, green, and blue, you can have 1024 levels of precision. If you compare that to 8-bit color, which only has 256 levels, this offers smoother gradients, less banding, and better color flexibility for grading. Both 10-bit 422 and 10-bit 420 have 10-bit precision, so this part, it's equal. When we discuss what 422 versus 420 means, these numbers refer to the chroma subsampling, which is how color information is compressed in relation to luminance or its brightness. Regarding luma versus chroma, luma, which is brightness information in the file, is very sensitive to the human eye, and we can perceive this really well. With chroma or color information, the eyes are less sensitive to this, so video is often compressed in order to save file space. With 444, there's no color compression, and we can see full color per pixel. With 422, the horizontal color resolution is halved, and with 420, both horizontal and vertical color resolution is halved. When we compare the two, 422 is definitely better overall, as it provides better color for VFX, green screen, and grading, especially if you need to work in precise color workspaces or workflows. With 420, the files are more compressed, smaller overall, and lack a pro level of manipulation that you would get from 422. Now, with all of that said, unless you have a trained eye and professionally color grade, you're realistically not going to see much of a difference between the two if you're uploading for the web or non-color critical productions. The TLDR of all of this, though, is that 10-bit 422 offers more color detail, is better for post-production at the expense of larger file sizes, while the 10-bit 420 offers less color data, better distribution, and smaller file sizes. All of this said, I'm going to show you why, even though 422 is better, 420, it's no slouch.
Now, onto the footage. I've been flying the Mavic Pro 4 for the last 4 or 5 days in low light and high banding situations, and I have to say, as someone who's worked with grading and editing footage for the last 20 years, the quality from the 10-bit 420 footage is nearly identical to the 422 footage that I've worked with from other cameras in the past. Not to say that it's better, but it holds up just fine. Taking the footage into DaVinci Resolve, I find that you can easily pull 2 to 3 stops of information from the footage and easily recover highlights and shadows to create a more dynamic image. All of the footage from the Mavic Pro 4 is H.265, which isn't great even for the Creators Edition, but what I found remarkable is how fluid the playback was on the 6K 60p footage without having to transcode it out of its long GOP format. It's a shame that DJI didn't license ProRes from Apple again, but given their history, it really makes sense. For the Mavic Pro 4, the footage is 100% beautiful and easy to work with and allows you to grade much like any other 10-bit footage. I'm not going to say that I don't wish it was 10-bit 422 because in the end, more chroma samples means better color, but unless you're pixel peeping, you're really not going to see much of a difference in the quality of the footage if you're using it for web streaming or even commercial productions. The only real reason you would want or need 422 is if you're using this drone to key out a certain color channel for a VFX project, and in that instance, you would definitely want those extra samples. But if you're using this for anything else, the 420 will work flawlessly, even in high contrast scenes where banding can become more prevalent. I was able to capture a few sunrises with the Mavic Pro 4, and the color range is just simply stunning. And as you can see here, you can easily remove highlights to rebalance the image and adjust the color and tone without any issues. Since this isn't a review video, but it's more of a first impressions video with how the quality video footage looks, I will say that I'm incredibly impressed with the drone, and if you can get your hands on one, you should totally do it. On the still sides of things, I'm super impressed with the 100 megapixel quality. The detail is pretty insane, and working with images inside of Adobe Lightroom is fantastic. You can pull so much information from the raw 100 megapixel files that it feels almost criminal to see these images look as good as they do from a prosumer drone. While it doesn't rival, say, my Sony a7R V, it's pretty damn close, and for the price, it's definitely worth investing in my opinion. Overall, I'm super happy with my purchase. I've had a few offers to buy it off of me, which is kind of funny, but alas, I'm gonna keep this unit for myself and hopefully create some more gorgeous content with it in the near future. That being said, if you are on the fence about picking up the non-Creators Edition version, know that the 420 version is just as incredible and just as capable of doing 95% of everything that the Creators Edition can do, so don't feel like you need to spend that extra $1,500 if you can find it. In that regard too, I've seen a lot of people saying that they're going to just go to Canada and buy this, but you should be aware that Customs and Border Patrol are actively looking for people bringing this specific drone back into the United States. And if you do, you could face tariff charges or even confiscation, so just be careful out there. I want to say thanks for joining me, and if you like what you saw, please hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Happy shooting.